beans. All right, minute 5. Back for another X-Men Minute. I'm Brian.
I'm Wolf.
And this is the X Minutes podcast, the podcast that breaks down the, at the time of recording, longest running superhero franchise. A title that is up for grabs for I wonder who. He said sarcastically because it'll be the MCU and they'll have mutants by then.
I know,
But
right?
we are in minute 5. We might be breaking those down in time. But we're in minute 5. And Wolf, what happened?
Yeah, so it's the very end of that opening concentration camp scene. And what I really like about this part is that it just, that zoom in to the broken fence and like the look of awe on the Nazis' faces. They were like, what the fuck just happened? And I like how it kind of like, it like looks up to that tower and then it dissolves to just present day, or what present day was back then. Like present day.
Yeah, and it's not just a dissolve. I noticed that when going from the white, they also desaturated the next shot and then saturated it as the dissolve finished. I don't know if that was just an effect. No, I'm pretty sure they desaturated it to match the white more, because as soon as the tower is gone, it's still desaturated.
Yeah.
And then they bring the color up a little bit to that rosy kind of suburban filter in Meridian, Mississippi, the not too distant future.
Like the filter they put on this like suburban city reminds me of like Seventh Heaven. You know, I think they wanted to just like it's very warm, you know, and
so to off track because of that, there was this episode of Seventh Heaven where a girl liked a boy, and she wasn't supposed to be hanging out with him, but she snuck out to hang out with him, and he was living in some frat house or something, and there were like crumpled beer cans in a box on the porch for recycling, and that was to show, oh, this boy's not good. And she comes home, gets caught, and like, what do you have to say for yourself? She's like, I'm sorry I did it, but I don't regret doing it because I found out how disappointing it was.
Oh, dang.
Like to find, and she gets out of it. And this was true for me, but I'd always wanted to be driven home by one of the, like a junior in my high school. And I finally left an event without really telling people enough. Like they thought they couldn't find me. And he would drive like an idiot. He would drive like 45, 50 miles an hour down a one-lane, one-way street, side street.
Dude.
And I was not about it. I was like, this is so fucking stupid. You're not cool for doing it. Even as like a sophomore or whatever, he was a junior or senior. Or maybe a freshman I was. But no, I wasn't a freshman. I was like, oh, and then I got caught, got in trouble, and I just said that same line, and my parents were like,
yeah. Like your parents are like, wait a minute, that was mature. That was oddly profound for
and I was like, I got that from Seventh Heaven, but it was true. But yeah, sorry. We get her vision board, kind of.
Yeah, right.
Vision wall.
It's like, I like how, so like, and then, so like we see the like the exterior of the house. It was like a nice establishing shot or whatever. I don't know if the address 401 means anything later on, or is that 401 or 481?
It looks like 401.
401.
Yeah, it's 401. It may have been for the comics. If anyone knows if 401 is significant to the X-Men comics, put it in the comments on YouTube. Or go to the Instagram, XMinutes, at XMinutes, and tell us on this minute.
And, like, the mom is, like, playing the piano, so it's just, like, a normal whatever day, probably a Saturday for them. Like, everything seems pretty normal. And we go
They're
to
setting
room.
up generic as much as possible, generic suburban for what's about to come.
Yeah, like you said something about her dream board. Like it's like it shows all the places. Isn't that all the places she wants to like visit?
Yeah, and
And
she actually has a stencil or painting of North America, Canada, Alaska, and a bit of Mexico, and she's been
yeah,
putting pictures over it. And this Anna Paquin,
it's,
in the first
yeah,
movie I
she's
ever
like
saw her in.
yeah, she's been acting for a second. She was like a child actor for a really long time. She's really good. I liked her in this role.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
people didn't like the change to Rogue, I guess,
oh yeah,
versus the TV show, but I was so young I couldn't connect the two together
it's
because
for
it,
this film, I kind of understand that they have like a rogue who's like she's just getting her powers. She's like a little more naive. Um, and it's just really new to her. Like in the cartoon, I really wasn't too familiar with the comics when I was younger, but in the cartoon, she was like ballsy, she was like hardcore, but she had been rogue for so long at that point that we didn't really get to see an origin. So
yeah, and it was interesting how they maybe you could say failed to evolve her character into that
yeah,
in the sequels
hmm
because she really gets sidelined in two, relatively
yeah,
speaking.
dude,
She is front and center in this because she, I mean, to be a little blunt, she also serves as a MacGuffin, as a
yeah, uh-huh,
plot device.
yeah.
And kind of so does Wolverine with his healing factor to save her. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in this movie later on. I'm
Right.
supposed to play dumb.
Also, like
But,
one thing I want to point out before we go on is her boyfriend in this looks so much like the 2001 Flash Thompson. I always thought that was hilarious.
oh, ha! Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, yeah,
He looks like a future stripper in Magic Mike, you mean?
yeah. Right.
I think I have to have seen him in something else. That did remind me. I meant to say for the end of the Nazi concentration camp, they get the prettiest Nazi
I
to
know,
look
right?
at the gate. Like that boy does not have any 5 o'clock shadow. I can see where his beard will be growing in perfectly, but
That is funny.
yeah, they did choose the prettiest one with the biggest jawline just
Right.
to get that reaction shot. Um, but yeah, this guy he's got some dimples. He's got those dimples, the perfect sideburns, and just strong eyebrows.
Dude, yeah, like they
And
picked like
yeah,
the
Okay.
like I mean probably skateboards. I don't know him personally, but his character probably skateboards, or
yeah,
skateboarded at some point.
until she took his skateboarding powers.
Yeah, right. Now she's kick flipping and shit.
Now he
But
can
yeah.
never skateboard again. But now we see, I guess, like, what do you think? She's saying she's going to do this after high school. Um, what grade do you think she's in? Do you think she is a senior and she's almost there? Or, because she goes to the school and then stays there for years.
Oh yeah.
But I never
I
knew if it was like a college, if the X Mansion could be a college too.
I thought she was like about to graduate and then maybe take like a year off. She seems to be like in a situation where her parents probably wouldn't be all pissed off at that. She seems like a good student. I really, they didn't really touch too much on that. But I, to this day, I don't even know how grades work at the
Oh, at the
at
X
Professor
Mansion.
X's school. Yeah, like how I mean, it's kind of like like a Hogwarts thing. It's like there's no like
Yeah.
there's only like year one, year two, and all that.
Yeah, the
So
honor roll is being on the X Men. Like that's
yeah,
her AB
right.
class.
It's like
um,
you become like summa cum laude when you have like 30 confirmed kills or some shit.
yeah, and her bedroom's interesting. There is a lot of pink, but there's more colors, so it's not quite a room that you might see in Mean Girls. She's got some
Yeah.
green pillows and I think I'm at the 37-second mark. Oops. I'm at the 37-second mark, and I'm seeing in the left corner, it looks like she's got some birthday-esque streamers or whatever, and a wind chime hanging from her... like
the curtain thing?
Yeah, that was the word that was escaping me, curtain. But she has a wind chime that just seems to be laying inside the curtain. And also a lighthouse in the corner. The right corner.
Yeah, she's I don't know. I think they're trying to paint her as like the typical American teenager with like some serious like aspirations of like seeing the world, maybe getting exposed to like new cultures or whatever. You know, like even as a kid, it's like I liked Rogue, but I personally think that this character should have been Jubilee. You know, because like the animated series starts when Jubilee first gets to the school and she doesn't know what the hell's going on or whatever. I think Jubilee would have been a great character for this, but
gotcha.
You know,
but I'm not mad powers, no whatever.
Yeah, she wouldn't
power
be
stealing.
She like it wouldn't have matched up with the storyline, but you know,
I do like how they. Yeah, I do like how this whole dream is not just, you know, showing that she's adventurous or wants to be adventurous, but it also tees up what she'll resort to when she has to go on the run. Because we all know that the literal poster boy for this franchise, the boy that ends up on the poster for every dang movie, is Canadian, if a little tall for accuracy, comic book accuracy. Well, yeah, that's what I got. Let me see what time it is in this corner. I can't tell which one's the hour sign, hour hand or minute hand, but it's either 6:10 or 2:30 on the clock in her corner next to the candle.
Oh. Yeah, that'd be that might Oh yeah, I can't really tell what that is either.
Yeah, I tried zooming in.
It might be 6:10. You might be right. Maybe that's like a significant number.
But yeah, that's what I got for this minute. Oh, I like that there's also an elk or something in part of Canada in her drawing.
Oh yeah.
Or an elk or moose or what is that? I don't know animals. And there's also a whale.
It looks like an elk.
There's also a whale in the ocean. A few whales.
That would be funny if she had like a little cutout of a wolverine.
I think there might be a wolf in the top middle of Canada, honestly.
It might be like where Alkali Lake is or some shit.
Yeah.
some foreshadowing.
Yeah.
But,
cool beans. Well, that has been minute 5. And I'll figure out a better outro in the next batch of minutes. But let's evolve to minute 6.